everybody, this is Lynn from Creative Concept Crafts with this week's solution, our space-saving cube storage. This happened purely by accident. I was rapidly running out of space to store stuff, as all us crafters do, I think. And I was looking at my Kallax Cubes, the Ikea ones, and I realised I've got quite a lot of stuff in there with a lot of gaps in corners, up at the top mainly, because you put something in and then there's a gap at the top, and because of what you've put in, you can't use what's left. So I've devised this system. I always said to my husband, I need you to design me something where I've got units that have got expandable sides, and believe me, I think I've found it. I found that up to now I've only done one side of one cube, and I've cleared the space off an entire shelf and another cube in that half. You can actually get double, because if you can access both sides of your cube, i.e. if it's in in the middle of a room where you can get to both sides, you can put double the amount of storage in. So you can fit what I'm fitting on one side again on the other side. So I'm really quite excited about this. I've devised, there's 4 widths on the shelf unit, and that's a 4.5-inch box. The next one is a 6.5-inch box. The big one on the bottom there is an 8.5-inch box. And yes, they're not the strongest, but if you could use a stronger board than I've just used Lidl card, it can be quite substantial. And I'm actually going to be making a 5.5-inch shelf. So within that system, you can fit in 8x8 papers, 6x6 papers. The little hunky-dory little books will fit. The 5.5 fits the square one. The 4.5 fits the rectangular one. I can fit in gems. I can fit in stamps. So it really does take an awful lot of stuff. This is all the drawer units. There's the little cube pen storage. There's about 15 pens in just that little tiny area. And you can fit 4 of those into one of the little, can you see the drawer sticking out there? You can fit 4 of those into one little cube. So that's in excess of 60 pens or pencils inside of that 3.25-inch area. I've split up the drawer into 3 pieces here. And I've put stamp pads in. I've got 3 lots. Those stamp pads that are held in the 2 areas used to be in a big box. So again, because I've made it to fit what I've got, I'm space saving. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stamps in that tiny little area. So it really does eat. I can tell why people love the things like the expensive brand boxes. They do store an awful lot. If you get the storage right, it really does work. So we're going to be making one of everything today. So I'll be talking you through. That's the 2-inch cube. That was to fill up a gap from a unit that I'd made. Because if you imagine the cube split into 4, you can fit 4 of the little black boxes. You can fit 2 of the little 2-inch boxes there, plus a 4.5-inch box at the side of that, and that's just 1 cube. That one I've designed, it's double height, so that's another 2-inch one, but double height. I needed to store some glue and glitter, but that is the width of 1 cube, and we can have that 4 times. So 4 of the boxes on the left, 4 of the boxes in the centre, 4 on the right, and 4 high. So can you imagine just how much storage you're managing to fit into a 13-inch square cube? I know I'm really excited about this. The drawer I've divided into 3. You can put 1 shelf in, you can leave it completely open, but I found it's great for holding extra bits or die cuts or anything like that, and I've got quite a few. That one, see, I had a lot of quite tall glitter pots that I needed to house. That's bowed out a bit at the front because I've shoved in 3 and it should have only had 2, but hey ho. But again, if you wanted to leave it open, you can leave it open and just pop stuff in. You can glue them together. The 2 black units on the left, I've glued them together. Or you can leave them separate, so you can just pull them out. If you want to use something, you can either just pull the drawer out or you can pull the whole thing out. So, we're going to make a start on making, like I said, 1 of each. We've got, this is the little pen holder that we're going to start with. 1 piece is all it is. So I've pre-burnished all the score lines, so it's ready just to fold up and glue together. So I'm just gluing with PVA glue just along the tab. So you just pop it down and it will all line up for you to just push down. What I will say is that I would normally just hold these things together with paper clips just for a couple of minutes before moving on to the next step. So if you're doing any amount of them, I would say cut them all out, do the first stages and move on and just give the glue time to bite. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to push on here. So you may see things not gluing properly through, but that's because I haven't given them time to just bond. So you just, to close up the base, just add glue and just pop down the side, add glue, pop down the side until you've got all 4 bits down. And then you can get inside of them. Just get a ruler or something down inside of that just to push down. And I know quite a lot of you have got a lot of pencils and pens for drawing, and they really are great for holding quite a lot. Like I said, there's about 15 or so pens in that little cube. We're now moving on to the 5.5 inch shelf unit. You've seen the 4.5, the 6.5 and the 8.5. This was a 5.5, and I've done this one because I've got quite a lot of hunky-dory little books. So I've just aligned the pieces here so that you've got from left to right, you've got a lid, a side, a base and a side. And again, we're just adding the glue to the tabs, and all 4 of these pieces will all be joined together to start off with. Again, I would pin them together, top and bottom, just until that glue bites. And normally I would flip over and burnish on both sides as well. So I'll give them a good push down. I haven't done it on this piece because I'm showing you how the box fits together. That's it. But at this stage, I would be burnishing inside and just pegging those together and stopping at that point. Here I'm adding the shelves. Now again, you can either put them in or not as you want. They are 1 inch high shelves and the unit's 3.25. So I've added 2 shelves, which gives you a 1 inch, a 1 inch and 1.25. So there's not a lot of difference between the shelving. They're only 3.25 because it's 13 inches and I've just broken it down to the quarters. So I'm adding the other piece exactly the same way. So you just line up to the base of your other shelf. Doesn't have to touch. It can just be close to, because like I said, there's that extra 1/4 inch, and you'll find it just sits inside from the front and just inside from the score lines at the back. Now this is the trickiest bit, not difficult, but you've just got to get a handle on where we're going from here. Those are your shelves, and that's the side coming up there. So we have to attach to the narrow piece. Can you see? That's where we're going with it. We're going to attach those shelves to the narrow pieces there. So we need to add glue to the other side of the tabs, and we're going to be attaching it to the piece to the right of where I'm gluing just now. Where the score line is, we're going to line up the base of that tab to the bottom of that score line. So we'll have to flip it up because of getting the shape of the box. So that's where it's folding. I'm just going to turn it on its side, and then I can get inside there and just burnish those lines down on both sides. Again, at this point I would add the paper clips just to hold until the glue's got a good bite. I'm going to repeat exactly the same thing with the other shelf. And remember, I'm using a very fine glue dispenser here, so it may look as if there's a lot of glue going on there. There really isn't. It's a very fine spread. So again, flip it on its side. I found this is the easiest way. You may find your own way of working it, but this works for me, so we all have our own little ways of doing things. But get inside there and burnish from both ends so that glue houses down. So that's your shelves in place. So now we need to add glue to the tab, which is the other end of the box that we didn't join together at the beginning. And again, I would put the paper clips on. Again, I'm getting inside to burnish at both ends. And just leave them at this stage before you actually start to add the backs onto them. Really let the glue take a grip. There's the shelf unit finished apart from the back. Just flip in the two narrow ends and add an inch of glue at each end, which is the width of the tab. So you're adding an inch of glue on one side and an inch of glue on the other, and the same on the other side. And then just fold down. Again, I will add paper clips just into those edges, just to hold in position. And again, give them a couple of minutes once you've done it for that glue to bite. You'll find that one of these pops on me when I'm trying to glue the back on, but I did go back and make sure it was housed before I finished. So again, leave it. If you're doing other ones, get them all to the same sort of space, and then you can finish off all the backs together once your glue's got grip. Okay. So now it's just the base piece that needs to be put onto there, but that's your 5.5 inch shelf unit complete, except for. So you can either put the glue on your base piece, or you can put it onto the tabs on the back of the unit. It's up to you. You don't actually need to cover the whole lot as there's a hole in the middle. See that one popped at the bottom there? So push it down and then tip it up, and again get inside and push those tabs down. If you don't get the bite on the tabs before you put the back on, it's difficult to get them down after. So there's your 5.5 inch shelf unit. Coming back in, there's the 4.5. That's holding all my gems and stamps. And what else did I put in there? Yeah, it was mainly stamps. Oh no, the stamps are in the 6.5 there on the right. And that one's holding 8x8 pads. The black one's holding 6 by 6 plus some of the stamp sheets. I've got some stamp sheets in with my gems there. And like I said, the 4.5 will fit the little books, the rectangular little book. That one there, the black one, the grey, dark grey one, and the other one fits the square one. Those 3 units is the 13 inches. So like I said before, you can fit 4 high on each cube. So I'm just moving back, so I've got freeing up a little bit of space here. And we're going to bring in the carcass for the 3.25 inch cube. I've actually cut out 2 here ready to go. So this is the carcass. It's that one of those pieces there. I've stuck, like I said, I've stuck 2 together on that particular unit. So there's 3 pieces here. There's the 2 pieces for the box and 1 piece for the back. So again, just whizzing through here, we're just attaching the tabs. We need to attach the top one because there's no shelves or anything to go in here. I'm just making the cube box. Like I said, this particular box, you can fit 4 of the pen units inside it. There's a little bit of wiggle room, so if you wanted to pop an extra 1 or 2 in the cubes, it will take it. They're not neat, tight inside. So I'm just flapping this up. Again, I would pin with paper clips before I start to complete the box, and let the glue go off before you move on. But for the video, I'm just going to move on. So that's the cube base. Again, we're just popping down the tabs. So again, 1 inch on either side of the tabs. So it's exactly the same as I completed the shelf unit. 1 inch top and bottom, pop down the sides. And again, just get a paper clip into those corners just to hold it. Okay, and again, leave it for a few minutes, leave it to grip. So this is the back piece. So I'll just have to drop those paper clips off. Again, my glue hasn't just quite housed, so just need to push down, burnish inside. Trusty ruler, mind you, the hand quite often comes in. So there's the carcass unit for either the pens, or I'm now going to go on and make the drawer to fit inside. So for this one, there's just the 1 piece because we only want 3 sides with a drawer. There's 2 shelves, which optional, you can use 1, 2 or none. Front and a back panel, and the little piece I've used as a tab. So this will go inside. So this time you're going to be pulling up the tabs front and back, and this is most of the area. It doesn't quite meet, so when you're putting this together, push in at the back so that your tabs are square into the corners. There is a little gap at the other end. It doesn't quite meet. But if you square up the corners, I haven't taken any shaving off of any of the corners on any of these units, so you can push them in square. If I'd have taken them off, they could have gone off on a skew. So I've deliberately left them square. Now we need to add the end pieces. Both ends are exactly the same. So that's the base box completed. Now this is the handle. So add glue to the whole of the rectangular piece. And it just goes on to the bottom of the box there. So line up the edge of the rectangle with the edge of your box and you've got the little tab sticking out. Now if you wanted an alternative to this, you could pop a brad into the centre of there. I'd maybe put a piece of reinforced card on the inside of the box and then maybe add, if you've got a jewellery gem or something like that, that you could just stick onto the front of the brad. All we've got to do now, you can either leave it like that or you can add the little dividers that I've done. So if you're adding the divider, add glue to both sides. And when you're popping this inside, make sure your tabs at the front and the tabs for the box face towards the back of the box. And push them down to the base, and I just flip the box onto its side. I can see to get it straight and just to push it into place. There we go. So it's approximately a third, but if you've got something specific that you're wanting to put it in, have a look where you need to put your shelf. Sometimes if you've got stays on or some of these other ink pads, they're sort of an oblong shape, aren't they, and a little bit wider, but I think they will actually fit inside of here as well. So you'll get quite a few, probably get 3 or 4 of those inside of maybe 2/3 of one of these boxes, I think. So there's the little drawer unit completed, and time served, one I prepared earlier. So there's the carcass and there's the box inside with the little pulley. If you were wanting, you could actually colour code these and put a different coloured piece of card on the front if you'd something pink inside or whatever. But there's the 3 different styles of cube storage that I've designed. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you find them useful. Thanks and bye till the next time.